and gentlemen, welcome back into another episode. This should be episode 5, and as we are starting off right after last episode, it is about midday, and I'm trying to get some... Oh, I'm sorry, pig. I don't want to kill him, I feel bad. After last episode, we're trying to get some wood and immediately get into some base stuff, because I want to get the roof done, at least of this bottom layer, shortly. Since these leaves decay weird, I'm gonna burn some of them down. Only fair. Okay, we good? Nothing crazy there to worry about, luckily. Ignore my volume turning down. You didn't see anything. But yeah, welcome back into today's episode. We got some fun things planned. If you saw last episode, I alluded to what my random topic I was going to be chatting on today was. So we're definitely going to be branching off upon that and talking, as this is one of the first ideas I actually had written down to talk about on here. So super excited for that. Oh crap, don't burn yourself. I kind of don't want this to spread to this tree. I will be breaking stuff because this could easily spread. Okay. Should be fine. That's more than enough block gap to not worry about it burning, but I still don't want to risk anything because I don't want to burn this house down that I literally just built, or this would be a really sad episode. The episode title compared to what it was last time. So, but yeah, so the plan is to at least get a roof on here so we can start moving some stuff in. I think I'm gonna go one higher on this. I was debating on what I do, but since we do got the layer that goes up slightly, I think the roof layer makes more sense here. That's where we're going to start off today with this, and as we hurry up and try to get as much progress before night, because that's what our big bottleneck has been at this point, is night hits and we can't do too much. And luckily, if you saw last episode, what we did was we planted all of these torches around here. I just talked and planted tons of torches and went mining and some other little things. So it was, again, another just trying to get some progress done in the early game. So that's really what last episode was about. I think we'll have enough for this layer, but then I will have to go again to get even more wood for the roof. Forgot how much wood we actually had on this roof. And so I just went and uploaded episode 4, and I talked about how it was going to come out Monday. I went and uploaded it Monday, and I fell asleep. So I didn't get to post it till early Tuesday morning, so I was just barely off. So that means that we went about 3 or so days without a main upload, which is really weird over the weekend. So hopefully we don't do that too much more. I'll try not to, at least. I am going to mine up here and get these, because they're really ugly to look at in the background. Also, you know, every piece of wood helps at this point with how much we're needing, so. And the problem is, the tools break so quickly. I know I talked about this, I touched upon it an episode or 2 ago, but the stone pickaxes, they break so soon, it's like, I can't mine too much, so I definitely think the next logical step is us to move to stone, and last time we were caving, we actually found gold and redstone ore, but I haven't made an iron pickaxe yet, so we had to actually end up waiting on that. So I think next episode we'll head back down into the mines, and we will take care of that. I also need to just stop mining leaves with my axe, because it just kills the durability on it. I think it'll just save me slightly by not doing that. I want to do a quick time check. We are looking at midday. We are sitting in a good spot. This is a bit of a hurry up. This is just a let's get this done. So I was thinking about what I want to do with the old shack, because we're not gonna need it anymore after we get the main house built. And it's like, I was going back and forth between if I want to demolish it or if I want to keep it as like a landmark, or maybe I should have built my house a little farther away. But I think I'm gonna keep it. That is what I am at least leaning towards at the moment. If you guys have any ideas, do comment down below what you think we should do. But it's just far enough away where I mean, I'm trying to think. It's just here. So you come out here, you got this little... It's just ugly is the problem. It just doesn't look good. Only, you know, we would have built this thing, like, farther along that way, so we wouldn't have to worry about it. But, you know, we got plans for a train station over there, and this whole lane to be developed, so... There's stuff that I want to do with this. I'm not shifting the houses or anything. If anything, I would move that, but... That kind of takes away from it. If I was like, oh yeah, this was my house, but, you know, I moved it 1,000 blocks. It's like, oh, so it's not your original house? So it's like, it's strange. Luckily, we do got torches, because I think we saw some extra torches. Oh, no. Had extra torches. Luckily, since we went mining again, I replenished all the torches that I used the last episode. Stupid. I replenished all the coal that I ended up using last episode, because I used tons of it. Because I placed about 2 stacks of torches around the area, which hopefully should help us in the long run with mob spawning and stuff, so we can be out here a little bit more. I will obviously need to keep going at it to allow for even more area for us to be allowed to cover without needing to worry about them. Because I don't think mob spawn in caves, because I've yet to find one in a cave. So it makes me wonder if they're even available, if they're even, like, able to spawn down there yet, which could have been a thing in later versions. Oh, wait, you can save items there? I forgot about that. So we do got a few extra inventory spaces. That's cool. We tried. We got close. We almost got this done. Okay. So I guess that's gonna be it. I was gonna go mining next episode, but since we're already here, I guess we can make an iron pickaxe. I have not done that yet, and also, as you see, we got tons of this. But now that we actually have coal, we can, and not worry about it being so limited, we can smelt some. Okay, this is exciting. I wasn't expecting to move up in the world like this. Oh, it's a baby pickaxe. Here we go. Look at us. Okay. Take a little bit extra food. But I think that's all we need. Let's go on down. So if you didn't see where I ended up finding the cave, as you know, we have this way going down, which I talked about a while ago where I found the first cave. Well, I just ended up going down this way. And we didn't even get that far. We got literally to here, and I ran into a big cave, and this is where we started exploring. And I just kept going down, and ended up finding cave very quickly. Here's the gold that we ended up finding, so we can... Oh, that's what I did. I placed a torch. No, I didn't. Wait. Ominous. I didn't like that. Some of the cave noises. Now we need to get our way down to the redstone. If I can remember correctly, it was going down this. Yep, we gotta be very careful though. There is so much. Oh, crap. Water does not break your fall. But there is obsidian in the game. Does it still produce light, this this far back in the day? No, it doesn't. There it is. That's funny, too, because this is, like, a type of myth-busting for me, because it's like, oh! Oh, that just scared the crap out of me. I'm so glad the water was there. But, you know, this is, like, a type of myth-busting for me, where I'm able... Uh-oh. I heard a mob. Need to be alert, actually. Or like, I can test old Minecraft things, which never come to me until, you know, you're just playing the old Minecraft versions. You're like, oh, wait, is that a thing that you can do? And then it's pretty easy to test it, which is pretty neat. So I did not expect this to end up being a caving thing. I really was expecting to push that to next episode, but kind of just spawned upon us. Big thing now is to find diamonds is really the thing I want to do. A skeleton? Here's some crap. I heard something. I think it's just gold. I'm being quiet here. Man, this restaurant takes forever to mine. I don't even know if we're gonna do anything with redstone yet. Honestly, that's what I'm trying to think of. And I guess minecarts, but I don't think we need redstone. We need redstone yet for them. It's just iron's gonna be the big thing we need for minecarts. I'll have to go mining for lots of redstone. But I guess since we're down here, we can start talking on the topic. As you know, I'm really good at starting on the topics really late into the episode. I feel like you either open up with it as we do our grinding, or let's not have so much dead quiet in the middle of it. Which, hey, I'll get better at. These videos are at least better than the first few. Because the first ones were a little rough. I'm surprised that's where people even started watching these. But, you know, let's not dwindle on the past. If you're not disappointed in your first episodes, then that means you haven't improved or you're not happy about your stuff. So I'd rather just make stuff because I've always been afraid to just make things that suck. I'd rather just make something that sucks, learn upon it, and make more than just dwindle on the fact that I made something that sucks and never post it. If that makes any sense. So I gotta get better upon it. Also, we gotta get back somehow. It's something I'm just thinking of. We're gonna have to do that. But, so, anyway, we talked about last episode, and what the title will end up spoiling anyway is that this series ends up coming from 4 different YouTubers that I have ended up watching over my years around the platform and stuff, because at least the Gmail that I use to still watch YouTube on today, I made that one back in 2016. So that is 9 years ago now, which is really weird because I'm still at the point where I'll look at something from 2016 like, oh, that was 8 years ago. But we're almost on 2025 at this point, and I'm like, oh crap, that was not 8 years ago. That was 9. We're about to be pushing 10, and it's just making me feel old, which is weird because I'm always the young one. I've always been the one who has been the youngest around others and stuff. So it always catches me off guard when I'm becoming the old one, which I'll have to slowly get used to, especially in this too, because I guarantee a lot of people here are going to be younger than me when it comes to this, because, I mean, one of the examples I use, listening back to stuff, he was 22, which we will loop back around into. But, so, as you've heard a few times, I've mentioned him multiple times, almost every episode too. We should be getting a counter at this point, but my original YouTube Minecraft that I watched was Stampy. And if you have never heard of him, or I've never explained, he had a lovely world where he basically played on Xbox 360. He just made a world and he played in it, and he made like made tons of episodes. And he just played in the world and had lots of fun. Uh-oh. Mob alert. I'm guessing it might be day now. But yeah, he just made a world, played in it, did tons of fun stuff, and he just had fun with the game, and he just went with it as it went through the versions. And that's where my first big inspiration ended up coming from, was watching him and his world. It made me want to have that forever world and that opportunity to have something that's mine and watch it grow and not worry about it. Because he didn't try to make things that look pretty or were perfect. He just had fun with it, and he didn't care. Some of the stuff doesn't look good. I mean, literally his huge base where he did everything with, it doesn't look the best, but it doesn't matter because it's iconic now, and he just had fun with it in the moment. And that's something I want to do, because I've touched upon this in the past before too, but I'm not a good builder, and with the modern state of YouTube and how everything is about bigger, better, and needing to have just the most elegant things, it just is really demoralizing to people who just aren't good at building or only see what other YouTubers do and they're not able to do it. If that makes any sense to you. It's like I want to be able to play and do stuff, but I keep holding myself to the standards of all these people that I watch online, and it's like I'll never be able to do that, or I'm not good enough, and I don't want to be stuck like that anymore. I want to be able to go on my own and make something super cool and be happy about it without comparing to others. So that's one really big thing that I want to do with this series. Like, for example, the house out there doesn't look good. First of all, we're in alpha, so it's not going to look good. And second of all, I don't care. I'm here to have fun. I'm going to build things that are fun, helping the story, and stuff like that. So, Stampy was really my huge inspiration when it came to all this stuff. And he made me the person I am through the lens of Minecraft and like how I want to be treated by others. Like, if I could somehow leave or do something similar to he did, where people down the line are like, "Oh my gosh, I used to watch videos when I was little." That would be amazing. That would be the dream. But realistically, oh crap, I just killed multiple. Realistically, that's not going to end up happening, as this is just some random Minecraft alpha world with my crappy microphone and my clicky mouse you can probably hear. So, but hey, it's progress. I'll buy a new mouse eventually, okay? If we hit, I don't know, I'll make a sub milestone, and if we hit that, I will buy a less clicky mouse. But then also, this leaves a weird thing is where when you have something crappy, people get nostalgia for the crappiness. Like, for example, I was on break at work yesterday, and I went to click on a Stampy video to see if like how I was talking felt different from the way he was doing it. And he clicked on he's just all monotone. He's so much quieter than he is now. And personally, I love, I don't know why, that part of him resonates more with me than his high pitched acting and all that kind of stuff. But I really enjoyed seeing that and watching it. It just gives you that feel of nostalgia and a feeling of, I guess, like comfort would be the way I want to describe it as, because this is supposed to be a cozy world, a cozy experience, an opportunity for me to do a lot and say a lot, basically. Because as we've said before, as I've been repeating myself, if you haven't watched other episodes, it'll be useful, because the first few suck, and I'm gonna not be blunt or anything. Like, I had editing issues, I forgot to record my freaking screen one of the times. It's just all kinds of stuff, and it's kind of funny. But I want this to be like a type of podcast, time capsule, stuff like that, which will revolve with other people want to talk about later on. But yeah, Stampy was the original one that I watched. I didn't watch him back in 2016. It was way sooner than that. Probably 20, 2012 to 2014-ish is probably when I started watching him. I don't remember the first Lovely World video I watched of him. I remember one of the first actual videos I watched of him. It was him on a cruise ship. It was him touring a cruise ship. It's a really popular video now, but for some reason that thumbnail always sticks in my head as like, okay, that's like the first one I ended up watching of him. But yeah, Stampy ends up leading into the next guy I want to talk about too. And so are the next guys I want to talk about, because this is a duo, and the reason I watch them is because of Stampy. Oh, can they not go sideways? Uh-oh. I thought I would have been able... Oh, crap. I guess we'll have to put them long ways. That's fine. Or ignore that. That caught me off guard. Oh, you can also mine through stairs to break the blocks under it. I also did not know that. You learn more every day. But basically, when I was in my big Stampy mania, I would always watch tons of stuff, and this one channel, which I had never heard of, actually ended up doing a video with him, where they had to come on and they had him do trivia. And you might be wondering what this channel is. Maybe if you have some guesses, if you've been around the YouTube game for a while, it was Good Mythical Morning. They were the next one, which had a pretty big impact on me, and I still watch them to this day. And it's really cool because, I started watching them, I think it was season 7 or season 8 of it, where basically it had the more nostalgia look, where like I enjoy that old GMM where they would talk about more conspiracies and they would not go for the elegance and the crazy kind of flashiness they kind of have today, where kind of for example, if you ever watched their Will It episodes before, what those are is they just take items and they see if it'll work as a taco or as a burrito. The problem is the newer ones they get so elegant and they get so far away from where they started. It makes me not really want to watch them in a way, because what's let's see. Well, I'm trying to think of a better way to word it. It just like it takes the simplicity out of it from when I was a child. I think it could be the nostalgia of like, for example, for the taco, they just put like grass in it, and it just yeah, okay. Let's see, does it work? No, obviously it's grass. It's not gonna work. Or they would use like congealed blood, or mess up stuff like that. And then nowadays they're like, oh, here we go. We took an entire Wendy's menu, we blended it, and we put it into which a lot of it is just like, oh, we blended it or we dehydrated it, and that's just where they leave it at, and they don't do tons. So I kind of actually haven't watched a Will episode in years because of that moment. Obviously, there's still other series that they do to this day which are great, and some of the stupid shenanigans they get up to are amazing. Another thing I love about it is how they've kind of grown up with me. When I started watching, they were more kid friendly. They didn't do tons of crazy stuff. But as I've gotten older, they got more on. Oh my god, is it directional? It's like as I've gotten older, they've gotten more older, and they've like shifted their demographic. So it's like I almost grew up with them in a way, which I think is actually pretty cool how that is. It's like okay, well when I was little, they didn't make dumb jokes, or not dumb jokes. They didn't make like more edgy jokes, or um I completely lost the idea there. Like, or they didn't reference like other types of I didn't want to say. I'm just trying to think of a way not to say the word. They didn't obscene not jesters, but like obscene like jokes and gestures and stuff like that. Sorry, no, that completely took me a second to get there. It's like they didn't do that. They more or less just had it more. Oh my god, we're gonna try this thing as blood, or oh my god, he's a testicle, or something random like that, where I mean, there was that bitness, but like they didn't commit to it. They didn't bleep things. They weren't more vulgar, and it's just interesting is how I've gotten older, they got older, and they got more comfortable with the actual situation of it, where they followed along. We followed along in each other's footsteps. Almost, I feel like as I got older and known the world, they also got older and did that kind of stuff. So they were another huge inspiration of mine, and they are the longest watched. They're the longest watched I have. They're not the most consistent because, like, obviously it comes in batches at this point. Where like I'll be on YouTube and I'll be like, oh man, I forgot about them, and then go on and watch some videos. The YouTube algorithm is it'll keep giving me more, and then I keep watching, and I'm like, okay, I gotta watch new episodes, and then I get lost again, and it happens all the time because you gotta think about it. They've been doing Good Mythical Morning for a very long time. It has been a lot of years they have been running this ship. The amount of fans that have come in and out are going to be tons. There's not many people who every day for the last 15 years have been like, you know what, let's watch Good Mythical Morning every Monday through Tuesday. or Monday through Friday. There is the amount of people that have done that. It's just that relatively to just time, you burn out, you'll become a dead subscriber, and you'll have stuff like that where it's not too likely that you have a lot of people that are that much turnover. When there is a couple, it's just most of them are going to be in the spot I am, where it's either they they either forget about them or they just every once in a while it pops up on YouTube and you're like, oh my gosh, I used to love these guys, and I should have grabbed the dirt when I would get there. And they're like, oh my god, I love these guys, or it's just, oh man, I haven't watched them forever, I want to watch it again, and so you do that. And I feel like where they come in and where they help my inspiration is the way that they expanded their media empire. Super cool. The way that it went from two guys sitting in a desk to the birth of mythical entertainment and all the side channels and all the extra stuff they got from it. I think it's super cool, and I think it's really impressive the way that they took a little internet show and they birthed it into so much more that you would have never expected from them. I find it super cool and super inspirational as a way to like build yourself and be like, okay, you want to do stuff on YouTube? Here's ways you can, and it's like, okay, I'll give it a try. Let me see what I can do. So it's very neat, very inspirational, and it's one really big thing. And so those two were mutually exclusive. Stampy got me into GMM because he went on to GMM, and so it's really weird to think. It's like, I wonder if I would have ever watched them because I spent so much time around, especially around lockdown, around 2020, watching them. It was years into me watching them, but I remember I would always binge the new episodes, and I would binge tons of the old ones. I would watch some episodes probably 4 or 5 times, honestly, within a few months, and I could remember them really well, and I would still enjoy them. And that's a good thing with it. They have so many episodes that they could start reposting stuff, and people would have no idea because they've just been doing it for so long, and they have so many different episodes of it. Which is kind of funny, because if you get to the point where you can just start reposting stuff and no one has any ideas, then I think you've done a great job in making content, or just even longevity could be another way of it, where it's like, wow, it's really cool. But that leads into the first two people that I had for that. Guess we're gonna have to call it night again. Yay. So the third person who I ended up watching, he has done two different things that have really inspired me. And one where I want to take a direction of this once we start getting viewers and followers into here, and another one where I probably will not be touching it much. It was back when I was a freshman in high school. So this is going back to 2019, 2019, probably the summer of it, before getting actually into the school year. I discovered this new upcoming Minecraft YouTuber. He was on SMP Live. If you know anything about that, you know that was a big part of the resurgence with Minecraft coming back. You gotta think that was back when Revenge started getting back into the spotlight with Captain Sparkles, and SB Live was in full swing. You had Ant Venom. You had tons of just names. Those are Captain Sparkles and Ant Venom were two people I also did watch a lot. I used to watch Ant Venom when he would do when he did the 1.14 snapshot reviews. That's how I learned about the updates, because that's back before I had a PC or I could do snapshots or anything. I would literally watch his videos every week as he would introduce some new things, and I wonder how delayed the stuff was. I've never really thought about it. That's just the way that I watched it. And then Captain Sparkles, he's also a huge mainstay. I've watched him for many years, and I'll still on and off watch him because he is just one of those special people who are still in the game and just done tons of amazing stuff for Minecraft. So, two honorable mentions of those two. Definitely Captain Sparkles I watched more than I watched Ant Venom, but I did watch both of them a good amount. That is not the right. So, anyway, the YouTuber I'm mentioning, he did actually do a video with Ant Venom where he went and killed the Ender Dragon. If that wasn't enough hits for you, the YouTuber I'm talking about is Jay Schlatt, and he is very polarizing to a lot of people because he is much more edgy, he's much more vulgar, he yells. He was a completely different type to the people I watched before that. And it might have been, your rebellious teenage years. It might have been where I grew up, how I grew up, just little things like that, where it was vastly different from most YouTubers I watch. Obviously, there's also Sky Does Minecraft, who also did stuff with Venom. So I mean, everything just loops back to those people. That's all those old YouTubers. But really, he was the first one who was really like that. And sorry, being quiet. Yeah, I don't know. I don't trust these caves anymore. My guess is that it's only during the daytime they spawn down here, but I'm not fully sure. But yeah, he is probably the longest guy who I have watched would be Jay Schlatt. I have been watching him since 2019 consistently, so that's just over 6 years at this point now, which is kind of crazy. And like to watch his growth is something astronomical. And the big thing isn't going to be him wanting to not to replicate what he does. It's to altercate stuff he does on the side. And the biggest, he has a side channel where he did this, where my inspiration for this kind of wanes from. It is the weekly slap. And if you've never heard of this, basically what the weekly slap was is he would go back to the old COD days of like 2010. So around the time that I am setting this world in, and he would be like C-nanners and stuff like that, where they would just play Call of Duty and just talk. And he answers questions, he talks in a soft tone instead of his crazy antics of screaming. He talks quietly, he helps his viewers through questions, like through school, through relationships, through all kinds of stuff. And there's something just so calming about that. If you're not having a good time, if you're sad, just watching him and him just being genuine and him just doing so much for and helping. That genuineness is seriously a huge part of this, and that's one thing I wanted to replicate. I would love to just help people answer questions and be like, it's gonna be okay as I sit through this Minecraft world and I play. That would be the dream. That would be a super cool thing to do. And that's where my J Schlatt inspiration comes from. Obviously, I've watched him. I know his crazy antics. I'm not going to be doing stuff that he does. I won't be screaming, saying questionable things, nothing like that. But I'm going to be taking his weekly slap, as that did really mold me into wanting to do something similar, as he was inspired by his people like Sark and C-Nanners. So it's just the way comes full circle, because he has a podcast, and that's another reason for the podcast thing, which I will get into for the last guy who actually will bounce off Jay Schlatt. It's like it's like on his podcast, on one of the final episodes, he got to actually bring on Sark, which was his biggest inspiration, and where all of his comedy came from. Jokes he stole, stuff he did, was literally one-to-one rip-offs from him, and he took some guy who has been forgotten to Machinima Respawns, to bringing it back to millions upon millions of people. That was really cool, and something that I would love to be able to like meet my heroes one day. Not just meet them, as I said, leave an impact onto them. That leave an impact on others the way that he left an impact on them. And so I think that's where I'm gonna end J Schlatt. That's number 4 on here. Number 5 for me, number 3 on number 4 is going to bounce off of Jay Schlatt, because I wouldn't have discovered him if it wasn't for Jay Schlatt. So as I said, I was watching his podcast, which he used to do with a few friends, which are a lot bigger now. It's Ted Nivison and Slime Sickle Charlie, as Charlie's been growing as he's been doing all kinds of crazy other stuff, and then Ted's just doing his own thing with his one friend, as he typically does. And I was watching the podcast, and there's always this one episode I would go back to. It was episode like 18, and they bring on this guest. His name's Matt Watson, and I don't know why, but like I would watch this episode and I would seriously just enjoy it. And I don't know, there's something funny about it. The way that the jokes he made, the crazy things he would say, it just made me laugh, and it made me really, really enjoy it for some reason. And I was like, okay, I like this guy. So I've looked into what he did. Nothing was cool. And so then he ended up coming on the podcast again with Ryan, which is the guy he has a channel with. So they came on again, and I enjoyed this episode too. This one was really funny. The whole bit was that all they did was just gaslight and lie everybody. So you didn't know what was true. And then this episode became really, I enjoy this one. I went back and watched it. I'd listen to it when I was working and stuff. I would be stocking seasonal Christmas candy, and I'd be like, I need something to laugh at, and I'd throw it on, and I'd literally just be sitting there smiling, trying to hide the fact I even had an earbud in. And it was a no. They just had great chemistry, and it made it really funny. So then I ended up listening to it again, like I said I did, and I said, you know what, I want to actually look into them. So I ended up looking at their channel and giving it a better shot than what I was doing. And as I did that, I was like, wait, this is really cool. And I realized they had a podcast, and I started listening to their podcast, and I enjoyed the crazy antics, all the wild stuff. It was way more chill. It was way more relaxed. They just talked and they did things. So whenever I get into something or I enjoy it, I like looking at the history. I like seeing what's next. I like getting an idea. Like if I find a game, I love seeing what's gonna happen next with it. Like when I got into Terraria and stuff like that, it's like I went to look at, okay, what's the next update? Oh, there's mods. Okay, cool. When's the next Calamity update? I like looking into the stuff and just learning more about it. I don't know. Maybe that's just the person I am, or the fact that I like new things, or I like seeing what's next. But I would always do that, and so I went to do that to them. I went to look back at, well, what they did in the past, and I realized that they have been doing their podcast for a very, very long time. It stretches back to 2016 when they first started their YouTube channel. I was like, oh wow, this is really cool. Having a YouTube channel that goes that far back is really neat, and it can capsule history, which, if you're seeing things I'm saying, stuff is starting to connect, some neurons should be firing, inspiration should be being found. Well, I ended up going back, and I was listening to their original stuff, and it's like, well, so the original episodes are back in 2016, talk about Pokemon Go just coming out, the 2016 crazy election, all kinds of wild stuff, and it's like a time capsule, and they're talking in the old monotone YouTube voice. They're not yelling. It's all calm and peaceful. It's like, oh wow. It's like I love this. And I was just recently listening. I went back. I haven't listened to podcasts at work much recently, but then I was like, you know what? I want to listen to a podcast again. And so I was re-listening, and I was literally driving back to work from lunch, and I listening to them talk about old times, and I hear Matt. He's talking about. He's like, yeah. Like, yeah, I'm 20. He's like, I'm still young in life. Because they were talking about a thing. Like, I think they want to have kids, or like what their plan for life was. And he's like, I'm 20. He's like, I still got so much life ahead of me. He's like, I got things to not worry about. He's like, I just want to get this YouTube built out, and it just resonated with me a lot because, well, I'm 20. I am sitting at the same age he was in 2016, listening to him in the present day. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, so, I'm like, this is really cool hearing stuff that from some guy at my age, what he did in 2016 that I could do now. And then this is when I had the idea for this Minecraft thing pop in. And two things clicked, and I said, that's it. I'm going to do this. This is going to be like a podcast. And it was because of Jay Schlatt having me watch it, finding Matt, and then finding Super Mega is the biggest inspiration for this. So those are the inspirations. Those are the things that I'm doing this for. That is why. That is how. That is everything with it. Those are the 4 building blocks that are going to make this series happen, make it work, be the engine to this. I'm going to be taking all of those people, I'm going to be mushing them into something that I grew up with, something I'm not going to say proud yet, because this is in its infancy, this is a young thing, this is, this is just me playing Minecraft. I'm not going to say here and be like, oh my god, this is going to change the world, when realistically, I could fade out within 3 weeks, and I get to episode 12. Okay, I'm so sorry, I had a cut randomly in that, so I don't remember what I was saying, because I had to go do something, but I think this is a great spot to end the episode. Next episode, we'll head back up and we'll get some more mining done, but those were the YouTubers who inspired me and who is going to shape this series. So if any of you have watched them or never have, I recommend checking them out, as they all did wonderful things for me as a child, and as I got a little older, and they also will be seen through this as their inspiration is going to be what drives me. That's all I have for this episode. This is looking like a longer one if I do not trim too much of it. But I will see you guys next time. Bye.